Virginia taking the field dressed in white with the orange shorts, blue helmets for Dom Starsia. Described the season as a wild ride. He said, I can't even believe we beat Cornell in Denver. So yes, he is surprised that his team is playing for a national title against John Tillman at age 41 in his first season taking over this proud Maryland program. He has them on the brink of the first national championship for Maryland since 1975. They won 2 titles in the earliest days of this 41-year-old NCAA tournament back in 73 and 75. And Terp Nation is ready for another celebration of the ultimate in college lacrosse. The officials are Tom Sutton,
good luck, boys.
Doug Donovan, and Dave Pinciaro. It is approximately 120 degrees on this field turf at M&T Bank Stadium, the home of the Baltimore Ravens. So fatigue could be a factor. Both teams played on Saturday. It's rare in college lacrosse to play 2 games in 3 days. Face-offs always the key. Maryland should have the edge in that category. Curtis Holmes, one of the best in the country at 63%. Called for a violation right off the opening face-off against Virginia's Garrett Ince. Virginia's only 50% for the year on face-offs.
Both teams will be extremely amped up early, especially Maryland with this contingent of fans in red. Got a huge ovation when they came out of the locker room. Play within yourself in the first 5 minutes. Get that first touch or the first hit and move on.
Virginia has welcomed back Colin Briggs, one of their best midfielders, did not play. Coach's decision Saturday. He has been reinstated for the game today. Did not start the game. John Haldy, one of the captains, playing in his final game at Virginia. Senior from Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania. And now the All-American Stanwyck. He is the only first-team All-American on either one of these teams. Maryland trying to defeat history there as well. There's never been a team that has won the national championship without at least one first-team All-American. Nick O'Reilly. Sophomore spun toward the net. Nico Amato was outstanding in the win against Duke, held his ground. Maryland clears, it's Dan Burns. In the goal today, the redshirt freshman from Conshohocken, Pennsylvania for Maryland, Nico Amato, 4-year starter in net for Virginia, Adam Gittleman with 49 career wins. That's 3rd all-time in college lacrosse. In this tournament, Maryland has been very patient, long possessions on offense, frequently drawing stall warnings from the officials. John Haas.
Terps love to push transition, but as you said, Sean, when it's not there, they are ultra conservative. They'll grind out a 2 or 3 minute possession.
Jake Bernhardt has a brother on this team. Jake's a junior. Now Drew Snyder. His dad was a great All-American player at Virginia. Won a All-American honor back in 1978 as a team captain for Jim Adams.
Virginia opens up this game in a man-to-man defense. You'll see both a zone and a man.
Let him move.
Now Ryan Young held to just 1 assist by Duke on Saturday. Haas out in front, and Grant Catalano scores. Great start for Tillman and the Terps. Maryland's leading goal scorer, Grant Catalano, a senior from Webster, New York, with his 30th of the year.
Let it roll here. Let's see how this play develops. Catalano just comes off a curl inside, and in terms of being an off-ball defender inside, you've got to find big number 1. That's his spot. He loves to be a wing shooter both on the right and left-handed wing. He had the game winner against Syracuse in the quarterfinals. This time, changing it up, a high release to a low location, and he kind of buckled the knees of goalie Adam Gittleman.
All right, man, here we go.
He's been great in their big games this
Down.
year. Ince again on the face-off.
White Charlie, run!
Played very tightly in the X. This time a violation against Ince of Virginia to give the possession for Maryland. Catalino had 3 goals in their ACC title win against Duke. Had 3 more goals against Duke here Saturday night. Had the game winner against Syracuse in the quarterfinals after Maryland had been stopped in the quarterfinals in each of the last 3 NCAA tournaments. And now Catalino has the first goal this afternoon.
And now we see Virginia's zone defense. Basically like a 3-3 zone, similar to a basketball 2-3 zone.
They went to that zone in mid-season due to injuries on defense, particularly to Matt Lovejoy, a great defender. They had to change things up in the back. Maryland a bit more aggressive offensively this time, not holding the ball quite as long before attacking. Scott LaRue ran it down back near midfield. 3.5 minutes played. What are the keys for Maryland today?
Well, zone offense is the first key, and that starts with Ryan Young behind the goal. Some great wing shooters from Grant Catalino.
Long shot stopped by Gittleman by Scott LaRue.
Second key for the Terps defensively, you got to limit Steele Stanwyck. No question there. He's been involved in about 50% of the Terps goals, excuse me, of Virginia's goals in the NCAA tournament.
Wyatt Meltzer helps set up the offense and now heads off. There's Colin Briggs, who just passed it to Stanwyck. Briggs seeing his first action of this Final Four after sitting out for disciplinary reasons unspecified by Coach Starja on Saturday. And there are a lot of tired bodies on these two teams. Briggs might have an advantage later on. Mark Cockerton. He had a hat trick in their win over Denver. Freshman from Oshawa, Ontario. Didn't get much on the shot. Ball still loose. Swept away from the sideline by Colin Briggs. And now Cockerton behind the net. Stanwyck, Cockerton alone behind the cage. Gobbled out of the air by Chris Cockert, their leading goal scorer. He scored in 35 straight games, and there is a flag down.
Tell you, this is a Virginia team entering this game. They are shooting in their last 4 games about 40%.
Red, 2-0, 1 minute, illegal body check.
But the challenge today for Virginia shooters is you're going to get blown up after you release the ball. You're going to pay the price against a very physical Maryland defense. What happens the next time Chris Bachler gets the ball inside? You know, the Terps, you saw it in the semifinals, they physically overwhelmed Duke.
Scott LaRue penalized for Maryland. Virginia, the best man-up team in the country, nearly 53%. Rob Emery, the freshman. Now Bachler behind the net for Stanwyck. Emery stepped into the shot, and Luke Amato to save, and then it wound up in the net. And it's waved off.
Interference with the goalie inside that cylinder. What a stop, though, by Amato, the redshirt freshman. He's got 3 already. Emery's got a cannon, 97, 98 mile an hour. He has time to look Amato down. On the left side of your screen, you see the interference with the goalie.
Virginia still a man up for 10 seconds, but it's Ryan Young just killing time in possession of the ball for Maryland. The Terps lead 1-0, nearly 6 minutes gone by in this national championship game. These two ACC rivals met once in the regular season. It was April 2nd at Virginia. Dom Starja called it the low point of our season. Maryland won that game 12-7. And that's when Dom started to make the big changes, particularly the defensive end. It was after that game he decided to go with largely zone defense the rest of the season. Bruce Snyder weaving through traffic. Now Ryan Young.
Terps have 2 offensive players inside, Catalino and Bly, and they'll try to cut the pipes.
John Haas passed it off. A good opportunity for Jake Bernhardt, and he whistled one wide.
Virginia's zone is best when the ball is behind or up top. I think Maryland will attack mainly from the wings, from the sides.
And quick ball movement by Maryland. But an errant pass. And it's the first Maryland turnover.
Emery, the scouting report is high heat. Amato watched his tape all week. That ball's in his cross. You cannot make contact with the goalie's stick. Official right there, Doug Donovan, makes the call.
Now the Cavaliers look to clear. Rob Emery, freshman from San Francisco, California, and now Stanwick. Stanwick has it back from O'Reilly as we look at Quint's keys to the game for Virginia.
Yeah, fight to get to 50% on faceoffs against Curtis Holmes of Maryland, who has the edge on paper, and then shoot 33%. Cavs shooting 40% in their last 4 wins. So far, 0 for 3 today.
Steele Stanwick. Edge of the crease, looking for somebody out in front. Emery had it for a moment. And it's kicked ahead by Brett Schmidt. Scooped up by Jesse Bernhardt. Bernhardt, the shot. They have 20 goals from defenders this year. They are a threat. Anybody on the field, really an offensive threat for Maryland.
And Virginia stays patient in their triangle, their zone. As Bernhardt comes down, they say, you know what? We'd rather see you shoot than Grant Catalino or Ryan Young. And they kind of invited that look from the defender.
Bernhardt has scored 2 goals with the long pole this season, and Brian Farrell has 7. Kevin Cooper, sophomore from Crofton, Maryland. Nice spin move. Ryan Young. Pass was not caught by Joe Cummings. Must have just taken his eye off it. Ryan McDermott led Virginia on the clear. And now Nick O'Reilly behind the net. And they give it to Stanwick. ACC Player of the Year. And a finalist for the Tewaaraton Trophy as the best player in the country. That'll be decided in the coming days. He's earned a stronger case for himself with his performance in this NCAA tournament. Most believe Rob Pennell of Cornell's the favorite, but Stanwick has certainly helped his cause in the NCAA tournament.
This offensive lineup for Virginia right now is one we never got to see early in the season, obviously, with their personnel changes. Got about 5 natural attackmen on the field and only 1 midfielder. A complete makeover.
Tom Starship, after suspending Jamel Bratton, a great midfield star, a couple of times during the year, finally dismissed him from the team in late April. His brother Ramel also not a part of the team, and they're 2 great midfielders. Virginia primarily a midfield-generated offense. A lot of dodging and attacking the net by running by defenders. Now without the Brattons, it's in the stick of Stanwick, a bunch. They're a patient, high percentage offensive team. Matt White, well defended out in front, and great stop by Amato on the low shot by Mark Cockerton. 4th save already for Nico Amato. Ahead it comes to Brian Farrell. His dad was on the last Maryland team that won the national championship in 1975. Mike Farrell, a 3-time All-American on defense for the Terps back in the mid-70s. Played on both of their national title teams.
See Maryland playing a little substitution game. You see Farrell at the top of the box with White, 4 and White. Playing a little game right here.
And it pays off, at least to this point. Farrell's shot might have hit the pipe based on how far it ricocheted back. John Haas tracked it down. Maryland looks to attack again. They get a great shot from Jake Bernhardt and a stop by Gittleman. Both goalies sharp here in the first 10.5 minutes. The Cavs counterattack quickly, and now Stanwick forced back behind the net by Brett Schmidt. Dom Starge says Schmidt is a great matchup on Stanwick. Brett Schmidt, a great defender, and Dom says particularly great feet.
Schmidt plays his angles, exceptional speed. He's smart, tremendous student, finance major with a 3.7. He said that the hardest thing about covering Stanwick is mistakes. You make a little mistake, and he makes you pay.
Stanwick had only 1 goal and no assists in that regular season loss against Maryland. In fairness to Steele, he had been injured 2 games before. Right foot injury, the ligament sprain, cost him 6 weeks of practice. He went 6 weeks during the year when he only played in games and did not practice. Rob Emery shoots, and what a stop by Amato. His 5th.
Virginia's getting great looks. And Amato, who rolled into this game on fire at 70% in the NCAA tournament, gets off to a terrific start. Emery's a righty, sticks up high, and Nico, the redshirt freshman, just matches up. Wide base, takeaway high, if in doubt from the inside, and he just matches up and stuffs the freshman.
Nico Amato is a freshman, but not likely to be rattled. He's a very confident young man. When he arrived last year to play for Dave Cottle, the previous head coach, the plan all the way was to redshirt Amato. They had a great goaltender in Brian Phipps. Nico Amato told Phipps when he got on campus a year ago, I am going to have your job. I'm not going to redshirt, I'm going to become the starting goalie. It didn't work out that way, but his teammates admire the confidence, which should serve him well today. Again, quick ball movement by Maryland and a good reaction by the Virginia defense. Kevin Cooper sends it back behind the cage for Young. Catalino. Scott LaRue played it off to Catalino, swept one wide.
He is a feared wing shooter, and he'll get his looks against this Virginia zone defense. Big, tall, rangy, got a long release, but he can really bring the heat.
Water late in the year by a broken hand. Digging down to 2 minutes left in the opening quarter of this national championship game. Maryland looking for the 3rd national championship in school history, but the first since '75. Virginia trying to win the 5th title in school history and the 4th under Dom Starsia. Kevin Cooper had a goal against Duke Saturday. Young away from that familiar spot behind the net, tried to take a shot. Got hit from behind. Cooper right out in front. And it's shot over the net by Joe Cummings, who scored 4 goals in that regular season win at Virginia.
Probing the Virginia zone. Guys stepping into seams, trying to draw 2 men. Rapid ball movement. Eventually the ball's going to get jammed inside. It's a Maryland team at times this year has struggled in their zone offense, specifically in a loss to North Carolina.
When they lost to North Carolina in the regular season, Coach Tillman said that was the low point of their season. It came in the game right before they went to Virginia and won handily, a win that most of the Terrapins point to as the victory that turned their season around in a positive vein. They did stumble late, a shocking loss to Colgate right before the NCAA tournament began, and that's probably the biggest reason why they were unseeded. 16 teams make the NCAA tournament. The top 8 are seeded. Maryland was not one of them. Under a minute to go in the first quarter. In the 41-year history of the NCAA Lacrosse tournament, this is the first time that none of the top 4 seeds made it to the Final 4. Stall warning now against Maryland.
That means they have to keep the ball in the attack area, so it shrinks the field. Obviously, they're holding for the last shot.
Keep it in.
Moving pick called against Maryland. 10 seconds for Virginia. They need a shot. They get one, and it's wide from Nick O'Reilly, and that brings us to the end of the first quarter. The only goal of that first quarter by Grant Catalino of Maryland. On the other side of a break, we'll check in with Anish Shroff and Paul Carcaterra in our studio. Anish and Paul were talking about a moment ago, Quint, the goaltenders called upon to make some terrific stops in that first quarter.
Yeah, focus is the name of the game. Eyes wide open, find the ball. As Nico told us, see the ball, see the ball, see the ball. From the moment he steps off the bus, that is the only thing on his mind. Find that ball in the shooter's pocket and explode with both the stick and the body.
Got introduced to the sport of lacrosse in the 5th grade. He said his cousin played, so he followed his cousin into it. Said he wanted to be a field player, but then he didn't like all that running. So in the 8th grade, he said, I'm going to be a goalie. At least he's honest. Brian McDermott out to take the face-off for Virginia. And Kurt Holmes won it for Maryland. First couple of face-offs, there was a violation, one against each team. John Haas. Maryland trying to set up its offense. Ryan Young behind the net.
First thing Maryland has to do every possession is gauge, are they in a man or are they in a zone, and what are the matchups if it is a man-to-man defense? I believe right now Virginia is in their zone.
Long shot by Grant Catalino. And Maryland will retain possession as Young was nearest to it as the shot went over the end line.
He's the zone buster, capable of scoring from 15 yards.
That was the term that Coach Darja used to describe Catalino yesterday, who did not have a point in that regular season win at Virginia. And the defense continues to be outstanding for Maryland. North Carolina had only 6 goals against the Terps in the first round. Syracuse had 5 in the quarterfinals. Duke only 4. On Saturday here, then Virginia, as you saw, held scoreless in the first quarter for the first time since late March. Jake Bernhardt. And now the race after the ball. Adam Gilliman, the goalie, gets the call. Great hustle by the senior from Cold Spring, New York.
Closest to the ball when it rolls over the line, which is right there, is awarded the ball. Gilliman sells out with a dive, which will never hurt in the eyes of the officials.
Colin Briggs, redshirt junior. He's out of Narragansett, Rhode Island. Now Nick O'Reilly. And the Cavaliers will set up their offense with Matt White. Played both attackman and midfield for Don Starsia. Lockwood sends it out in front for the first Virginia goal by Colin Briggs, who ties the game at 1.
Briggs has had a breakthrough season. Maryland's in their man-to-man offense. And because of the initial double team behind the goal, Virginia had a numbers superiority on the near side. The late slide, and Briggs beats Amato to the spot. Look at Amato fight to see that ball. He's partially screened by Farrell, 37, and Steele Stanwyck, number 6. If you can't see it, you can't save it.
25th goal of the season for Colin Briggs. If you want to watch the entire game from the Sky Cam, you can go to ESPN3.com. Great vantage point from which to watch the game. If you stay here on ESPN, you'll see plenty of shots from Sky Cam as well. Ryan McDermott and Kurt Holmes again. Violation again against Virginia. 3 face-offs won by Maryland. Owen Bly behind the net, 18 goal scorer this year for the Terps. Maryland scored on its first shot of the game. They're 0 for 10 since. Let's go down to Eamon McEnany.
Well, Sean, the last goal was scored by Colin Briggs, and his father grew up on Long Island, played high school at the great Ward Melville program. When they moved to Rhode Island, there was no local youth league, so Mr. Briggs started it up, giving Colin an advantage over all his friends in Rhode Island, which is probably why he's the second best player to come out of the Ocean State, along with fellow Cavalier Chris Rotelli.
Chris Rotelli, the last Cavalier for Steele Stanwick this year to be the ACC Player of the Year back in 2003.
And Briggs, some injury problem when he first got to Virginia. Finally healthy, a huge breakthrough season. One of the best junior midfielders in the country.
Stall warning now against Maryland. Ryan Young tried to sneak out in front and shot it off the pipe. Here's Chris LaPierre, who's essentially a one-man clear very often for Virginia. Great athlete, former All-State running back in New Jersey.
Talk about opportunity, Sean. Young gets in, multiple fakes. I'm not sure if that ball grazed off Gittleman and then hit the post. Clearly hit the post. But Maryland now shooting after hitting their first shot. Where they 0 for their last 11.
Matt White, sophomore from Ridgefield, Connecticut. Had the game-winning goal in overtime to beat Bucknell. Don Starcher said he walked off the field with his wife that day and said, "How did we win that game?" It looked like Bucknell had it firmly in control in the fourth quarter when they led 11-8. Bucknell led 12-10 with 4 minutes to go. But UVA rallied. Steele Stanwick tied it in the final 2 minutes, and White won it.
Go right.
O'Reilly sent it out in front for Colin Briggs. Coverage of Major League Baseball continues on ESPN tomorrow and Wednesday. The division leaders from the NL West and NL Central tomorrow at 7 Eastern. It's the Giants and St. Louis, game 2 of a 4-game series. And the Giants and Cardinals meet again on Wednesday night baseball at 8 Eastern. Major League Baseball on ESPN Tuesday and Wednesday. Matt White. And it's just a